So let's see right now how we can implement constants in Android Studio. We're gonna go inside this onCreate method, and I'm just gonna leave a comment right here. I'm gonna say declare and use constants. And so I'm gonna give you an example of a constant in which we just store the value of the conversion rate between kilometers to miles, and we have to first of all use the final keyword, and we're doing this because we're specifying that our variable is final, and a final variable, also named a constant, can only hold one value. So throughout our application, this variable will have only one value assigned to it, and you cannot change that value. I'm going to show this in one moment. First of all, let's just create this variable, and right now after I say final, we have to specify the data type. I'm going to say double, and after that we have to give it a name. And keep in mind that for constants we have to use all uppercase, and between words we have to use some underscores, and I'm going to say kilometers, and then underscore to miles. I'm going to set it equal to the conversion rate, which is this number you can see right here. And also I'm ending the declaration, and right here we have this constant. And right now, if you probably want to change this conversion rate, let's say you probably want to add 0.001 to it, and you will see that it's not possible, and the error that we get, I'm just going to show you in a moment what's going to be displayed. It says right now cannot assign a value to final variable kilometers to miles, and that is because, just as I said, you can only assign a value to it once, and then you just have to use it throughout the application. And also I'm gonna make sure that we have a double variable. Let's say speed of car, and I'm gonna specify that's in kilometers, and let's say it has 75 kilometers per hour, rather say kilometers per hour. Okay, and right now I just want to display this in a different way on the screen, and I'm just gonna say speed in miles per hour, and then I'm gonna display this on the screen. But first of all, we just need to compute it. So we have the speed of the car in kilometers per hour. Just want to multiply it by the kilometers per hour, kilometers to miles. And so we're gonna have the speed in miles, and I'm just gonna go right here and run the emulator. As you can see, this is the button that we have to use, and I'm just gonna press it, and now we have to wait until the emulator loads, and we're gonna see the speed converted in kilometers per hour, in miles per hour actually. So as you saw, it's 46, around 46 miles per hour, and that's basically how you use constants. Now I'm just gonna delete this, and I'm gonna show you from the beginning how to see the difference between a division that's stored in an integer variable, a division that's stored in a float variable, and also the division with the same numbers that's stored in a double variable. So first of all, let's have int result as int, and so I'm just gonna say the numbers that we're gonna be using is the numbers are 999,888, and then divided by 113,799. Okay, so these are the numbers, and then we have a float, result as float. Now I just want to make sure that you understand this this division right here. Basically, these two numbers that I have are integers, so that means that when you divide them, you will have also an integer, and that's how you store it right here. Now when we have this result as float, basically if we just copy and paste these two numbers, you probably will end up with an integer as well, because these two are integers, and when you divide integers you don't store any decimal places. And then after you have the result will be converted to a float. So we don't want to have this. We just want to make sure that the division is gonna be between a float and an integer. So we're not gonna change pretty much this value. We're just gonna say 0.0 and then f to make sure that this is a floating point number. And right now we have the division as a float, and also this float value we're going to be storing in a float variable, so that's more appropriate. And then we're going to have this double variable result as double, and then we're going to have also the same thing, just to make sure that we have one of them has to be double, so either the first one or the second one. I'm just going to show you that it works with the second one as well. And if I just put 0.0, then it's a double variable, or a double value rather. And here we have a float value. So right now I just want to show you that this will have no decimal places, and this one will have, we're expecting to see about 7 decimal places, and for this one we're expecting 15 decimal places. So in this example you will see the number of decimal places will be maxed out, so we're gonna have the maximum number of decimal places when you divide these numbers. Now there are many more examples that I can use, many other numbers that we can use for these computations. I'm just using the ones that you see on the screen right now. And also just going to use a toast message, and I'm going to display the results. So first of all I'm just going to say int, and then I'm going to attach the result as int, and then I'm going float, or first of all let's just add a new line and then say float, and then attach the result as float. And after it I'm gonna also attach the result as double, so new line and then double. I'm just gonna put the result as double. Okay, and so right now we have everything pretty much set up. I just want to make sure that this has a greater length so I can display it a bit more on the screen, a couple of seconds. And I'm going to run the emulator, as you can see right here. We're just going to wait right now until the emulator loads. And so the result that you see is with this many decimal places: 7 for a float, no decimal places for an int, and 15 decimal places for a double. And now, on another note, I just want to make sure that you know that integers hold 4 bytes in the memory. When you have floats, they also have 4 bytes in the memory, and for double they occupy 8 bytes in the memory. So make sure you know these values when you just use these kind of variables.